Hey guys, it's Daniel from Tech Tuning, and today I'm here with a video about replacing the steering wheel on your 1985 Toyota Celica. This should apply for any year of the Celicas if you wanted to do it on an 81 to 85, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be similar on the Celica Supra, but I can't speak on that decisively. So today, the steering wheel that I have is a Sprint steering wheel. I bought this secondhand, so it's not perfect, but it's pretty nice. The only thing I don't like about it is that it has blue stitching, which doesn't really go with anything in the car since I have a red car with a black and gray interior. But it'll work for now until I can eventually pick up something nicer, maybe like a Sparko wheel or something that'll just be more cohesive to the car. The hub adapter that I'm using is from Bull Boost. It was pretty cheap. It's only $20 brand new, and it's definitely indicative of that price. I'm not sponsored by Bull Boost or Sprint for either of those products, so I'll give my honest opinions on them. It's a wheel hub adapter, so it should do its job for $20. You know, all it has to do is connect the steering wheel to the steering shaft, so we'll see. And I'm going to do my best to try and sort of walk you guys through what you have to do in order to get your old wheel off, as well as installing the hub adapter and putting the new one on. So let's try and get started on that. So coming down a little closer towards the steering column, the first thing that we're going to want to do is reach underneath the foam sort of crash pad or the horn right here. And if you go right in the middle of the two spokes on the steering wheel, you'll feel that there's a little Phillips head screw, so we're going to take that out. So once you've managed to get that screw out, the next thing that we're going to want to do is gently take the foam pad and lift up, and it will slide out. And then all you'll have to do is take the little spade connector here for the horn and disconnect that. And now we can set that to the side. One thing that's good to note is that since these cars are pretty old and this system right here isn't an airbag, it's just like a foam crash pad, you really don't need to disconnect your battery for this like you would on normal newer cars. Anytime that you're taking out the airbag on a newer car, you'll definitely want to disconnect the battery in case the horn it fires and it like expands and goes off. But with these, I don't think it's a necessity. I haven't read anything online, and I don't have anything that would lead me to believe you'd need to, but it wouldn't hurt to if you decided to. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna crack loose the nut that holds the actual steering wheel to the column. For this, you're gonna need a 19mm socket, and you're gonna wanna use either an impact or a breaker or something that's gonna have a good amount of leverage for you, because it's gonna be pretty tough to get off. So once you've gotten the bolt loose, the next thing you want to do is, keeping it threaded, you're going to want to grab a Sharpie at this point, and you're going to want to mark on the steering column, like on the threads that hold the wheel on. You're going to want to mark what like the straight point is. Like if your steering wheel is dead straight, you want to mark where that is, so that when you put the hub on, it'll be in the same position as when you take the old one off. So now that we've marked what the center line is for our steering wheel, we're going to want to run a couple threads off of this just so that it's a little loose but still attached. And you're going to want to do what you can to take off the wheel. What I've seen online and what I've had to do before that are like the best ways to go at this is to kind of just shake it a little bit, and it'll pop loose pretty easy. So now we can take off the last of the threads, and now your old steering wheel is off. Okay, so once you're at this point and you have the steering wheel off and you have everything apart, what you'll see when you look at your center is there's going to be the clock spring mechanism, and there's also going to be a little sort of pin with a spring, which when you push in, it will push back out. That's for making contact to the back of your aftermarket hub in order to use the horn. And the clock spring is what works when you push the turn signal, you make your turn, and you hear that little click sound. When you put the steering wheel back, the turn signal goes back automatically. The thing about these hubs is that you don't always get to retain both of those features. Same thing, obviously, if you had an airbag in your car, which these don't, but if you had an airbag, you wouldn't be able to use it with an aftermarket steering wheel. So what I'm doing with this hub is, because what I'm realizing here is that the Bull Boost, even though advertised as fitting the Celica, which it does, the splines are correct, the backing plate, which has the horn and the clock spring attachments, is not the same. So all I did was, normally it's mounted at the back, I just wiggled it off because it's just plastic and it's just press fit on. I wiggled it off, and in doing that, now when I put the hub on, I have the clearance that I'm not messing with the clock spring or the horn because they don't fit on this hub anyway. So for the time being, for a $20 hub, it's a trade-off that I'll get to put the steering wheel on, but I'm not going to be able to use my clock spring, so I'll always have to push the turn signal back, and I'm not going to have a horn until I can figure out a different way to get that to work. I'm still going to use the hub for now because I want to put the steering wheel on, see how it looks, and get the feel of it, and see if I actually like it. But if I decide to keep the steering wheel, I would definitely look into buying a better hub that's a direct fit and is going to give me my clock spring and my horn abilities back. But for now, let's get this centered on and let's put the steering wheel on to see how it looks. These hubs all have different bolt patterns on them, which are for different steering wheels. In the case of the Sprint steering wheel I have, it's a 6-bolt. So what you're going to want to do is, you have the center of your steering column marked. You're going to want to kind of take your steering wheel and sort of slide it around on top of the hub a little bit until you can find where all the bolt holes line up with your hub. After that, you'll want to take note of what the center of that was, and that's when you'll want to align your steering wheel hub onto the shaft, and you can slip that on. And as you can see with this hub, the fit's not bad. I mean, it fits on the shaft, what I'm saying, but the fit, I mean, to the column panels isn't bad. It looks pretty alright in there. So now we will put our nut back on. Once we have that back on, we can take our wrench and we can tighten it down. And you don't want to go crazy on this, but you definitely want to get it pretty snug, that it's not going to go anywhere over time. And now that that's mounted up, we can finally take our steering wheel, and I'm actually going to take the horn that I bought as well anyway, and I'm just going to put that in so there's no missing gap in the middle of my steering wheel. And I'm going to line that up. And now most steering wheels are going to come, or most steering wheels, hubs, whatever you buy, you'll likely wind up with a set of these Allen head bolts that are like a tapered head. You're going to want to take those and use those to mount your steering wheel. Once all of your bolts are in, you're just going to want to take the little Allen key and make sure you snug them all down. You don't want to go crazy and over tighten these too much, but you definitely want them pretty snugged up so that they're not going to go anywhere. And I would just recommend keeping the Allen key that comes with your steering wheel in the car as well, in case they ever do loosen up, because I have had that happen on other cars where they'll just sort of loosen over time, and it's just not something you want to encounter and not be prepared for. So you can just throw the Allen key in the glove compartment or something, and in case you ever need to tighten them up. But for the most part, this is what we have. This is the steering wheel. I think it came out pretty good. I may need to adjust it. I have a feeling it's probably not perfectly centered, but I think it looks pretty good in the car, even with the blue stitching. The horn obviously doesn't work, and the clock spring won't work, but they're alright for now, just since it was a really cheap setup that I'm doing. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I hope you'll take the time to like, subscribe, comment if you're interested in seeing any more, and if you're interested in my content. So yeah, thank you guys for watching.